fall picture. Wonderful. Congratulations to everyone who has brought in a listing this week. Hopefully you were able to see your property, showcase this morning. And even though we all have the MLS and we can go in and take a look at the properties, it's still really nice to have the opportunity to, to sit back and see a slideshow prepared by Chuck. Thank you, Chuck, so that we can see all of the surrounding area and the towns and what other offices are doing. And, the other part of it too is, as we were saying, for first-time home buyers, they may be willing to venture out a little bit. They may be willing to travel a little bit further to find that perfect house. So good morning and welcome to Live from Western New York. I'm Charlene Zarate here today with our leadership team that we have for our last meeting of the year. And I'd like to say good morning to Kathy Bianchi and Lou Alimo and Ken Winowski from First Priority Mortgage. And our co-host this morning, who's going to be our main speaker, is Matthew Whitehead. So we're excited about what Matt has to say this morning. And I just wanted to say greetings to our new agents who joined us this past month. We didn't have anyone this past week, but here's the agents who joined our company in the last month and get to kick off 2023 with Howard Hanna. So welcome to all of you, and we wish you the absolute best in the coming year. And we hope that our training programs and our support and our tools and our resources will be a huge, huge benefit to you as you kick off your real estate career or have joined us as an experienced agent from another company. So let's get going. Lisa, if we could just chat for one moment before I bring Matthew out. And week to week, we attempt to give you little snippets of information on the market. And as Chuck just said, he was at a holiday gathering or he was with friends and, people were asking him about the market and concerned about what they read, in the national news and in the local papers. And I just want to say that each week we've attempted to give you little snippets of what's happening in the market and, a little bit more of an indicator of what's happening here in Western New York. But as we look back on the year, as we look back and we take a look at what we've done and who we've serviced and, how your year as an agent has come to close to an end, I would just like to say that having been in the business, I'm a realtor emeritus, I won't say how many years, but having gone through many different markets, I do have to say that at the end of the day, the market is the market. And it's really interesting as we chat with agents and we do business planning for 2023. I've sat with some agents, as many of our management team has, and it's interesting how many agents have had an absolutely phenomenal year, regardless of the challenges that have come forth, 2020, 2021, 22, with everything coming at us, including what Ken's going to talk about, the rates and what's happening out there in the financial world. But at the end of the day, the market's the market. And it's interesting as we step back and we take a look at, who has, hit their goals and who has been successful as per their own customized business plan. I do have to say that the more skilled agent and the better that the agent has put themselves out there. Lou talked a couple of weeks ago on, marketing you, and, Kathy spoke about events for 2023 that you can host and client appreciation events. I would just like to say that this morning, Matthew, I'm not quite sure where he's going to go with his presentation, but, we all reflect and say, how did we do this year? And, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? What would we change as we look to the new year? But the skilled agent will be the one that excels in 2023. The customer, the consumer is looking for information, clarity, the market. And those agents who step up on, some of the education that's available, become more familiar with market data, is the one that is going to, again, excel in 2023. So just consider that the market's the market, and let's just all step back, just as we do when we're driving somewhere and we get, pulled in a detour. We're always rerouting and, adjusting and making changes to get to our destination. And what I would like to say, looking back on the year, is that, that's constantly what we must be doing, adjusting, recalculating, and we'll hit our goals and overcome any challenges if we do it together. And I'd like to turn it over now for words of wisdom from our general manager from Buffalo, Matthew Whitehead. Good morning, Matt.
Morning. Thanks for that. And just to piggyback off some of the things that Charlene was saying, you look at the marketplace. So here's the question. Is it possible in a great market when everybody's doing great that somebody's not performing and having their worst year ever? That's possible. And is it possible when the market is down and everyone's struggling that somebody's outperforming and having a great year? Yes, it's possible. So it's not really the market that's really the case. It goes to Charlene's point that it is your skills, it is your habits, it is what you're doing every day within that marketplace that's going to breed you your success. So, Charlene talked about the end of the year, and we're talking about kind of reflection. And so here's a quote that I think goes well with the end of the year in business planning and thinking about where do you want to go. And it's that quote that I know a lot of you have heard, that you got to decide whether you are interested or whether you are committed. When you are interested, you will do things when they are convenient for you. But when you are committed, you will do them no matter what. And I think that that's interesting when the market is shifting and we have to decide where do we want to go and what do we want it to look like. We have to be committed to the outcome, not just interested in being a good real estate agent, not just interested in supporting our services. We need to be committed to doing the best things possible to get the best returns. So I kind of wanted to take that theme of end of the year business planning mindset, that kind of thing. And I think it's important to be aware of a few things about goals and reflection and success, Ken, before we get there. So I want you to know this. So every time that your brain has a success, it changes the goalpost for where you have to get and what success looks like. So if your happiness or fulfillment is on the other side of the goal, your brain never gets there. So most people say, if this, then that. If I hit this goal, then I'll be happy. If I make this money, then my problems are solved. If I get this, then that. And what happens is that your brain always sets the goalpost even further. Every time that you achieve that goal, then it moves it, then it keeps moving it. And so there's this lack of fulfillment that you feel because there's this disconnection between arriving and what you assumed it was supposed to be like versus the reality of it. So I think that it's important that you understand your brain actually works in the opposite order. So when your brain is at positive, you're significantly better at your intelligence rises, your creativity rises, your energy level rises. Every business outcome improves when you perform at positive versus negative, neutral, or stressed. So a lot of times we find ourselves very stressed when we're trying to achieve our goal. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves that I got to hit this, I got to get this, baby needs a new pair of shoes. And we put so much stress on ourselves that we're not performing optimally. So if instead we really focused on being present, being happy, having a good outcome, your results are going to follow that because your brain's going to perform a lot better. So when your brain performs at positive, you're 31% more productive, you're 37% better at sales, and doctors are even 19% faster and more accurate when they perform at positive versus negative, neutral, or stressed. And neutral, people are like, what is neutral? It's kind of apathetic. It's kind of like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I think it's very important that you understand that when you focus on the positive and keep doing the positive things, you're going to perform a lot better. And it's important because, like I said before, you equate the destination to a feeling or a fix. Once I hit, if I make $100,000, everything will be better. And then someone finally hits the $100,000 and they say, it's supposed to feel different. The other thing that happens is, like you set a goal for, let's say it's a monetary amount. Let's say it's the $100,000. one of the things that happens as you start to do that and you start to accumulate it, your habits change, your outlooks change, your bills might change. So you get to the $100,000 where you went from here to get here, but your habits change as well. So you're still feeling exactly the same you were as you were down here. And you say, well, how come I don't feel better? I hit the goal. And that's because you're equating the outcome to that feeling or to a quote unquote fix. When in essence, we really got to focus on the positive and making sure that our outlook is so focused on who we are, how we feel, rather than getting to that end result. So we're talking about goals, we're talking about planning, we're talking about all those things, and Charlene had hit on it. It's really, really important that you reflect in a certain way. So there's a scientific reason why you reflect in a certain way. So there's 3 great questions to ask, and this is the order that you would do it in. And the first would be, what did I do well? The second one is, what did I not do well? And the third is then, what will I improve? The reason you start with what did I do well is because it forces your brain to seek all the positive things, all the wins, all the successes, all the good things that you did. Now, if you say, what did I do well? And then you just immediately kick yourself in the butt, start saying, nothing, I suck. Well, shift it, take a breath and say, okay, let me see, what are the little wins? What are the little things? Just find the little things. And what you'll find is that they stack up. So again, it could be that, I showed up every day. I didn't give 100% every day, but I showed up every day. I dressed up every day. I went to the office every day. I went to the office and I made coffee every day, but at least I went to the office. So you're starting to show the little wins, little things that your habits, you're following the good habits that you did. That's going to train your brain to start looking for positive things. It's going to train your brain to start seeking out positives when you get into challenges. And it takes the weight off when you look at, what I did not do well. And again, what you did not do well, it's just, I could do better. So again, it's just feedback. I think something that's really important about feedback is that your achievement or your lack of one is not who you are. It's just feedback. So let's say that I set a goal for $100,000 and I didn't make it. Then I'm a failure. I suck. You got to stop the bad language and beating yourself up. It's just feedback. And when you look at the feedback, you'll say, it doesn't mean that I'm not worth the 100,000. It just means I was distracted. I chose to, do this instead. I chose to focus on this. I made excuses why I didn't do that. It's just feedback. So a lot of times we label something as failure, or I didn't hit my goal, or I stink, or I this, and it's really dangerous to do that. So shift to, it's just feedback, and again, I take responsibility for it and move from that feedback to kind of make sure you don't have it label you as who you are or what you are. The other thing I think is important is to really focus on what you want. A lot of people can tell me what they don't want, but it's very difficult for them to tell you what they do want. So really think about that. What is it that you really want? But more importantly, why is it really important that you want that? So for example, if I'm doing business planning with Ken and I say to Ken, I want to make $100,000, and Ken says, what if you made 85? And I go, but I want to make 100. Okay, well, what will it do for you? Why is that number really important for you? Why is that the one? What if you made 110? Why is it the 100? What does that number really equate to? What are you really trying to get to on the other side of that? A lot of times we set goals because of the idea of what we think it creates, when it's really something else that we're seeking. So I do think that it's really important when you're focused on what do you want, really focus on why is that important to you. And the other thing that I think is important is that success leaves clues. There are people that are hitting the numbers that you want to hit. They're hitting the units that you want to hit. They're hitting the volume. They're hitting the income. They're doing successes. There's clues all over the place on how to be successful. What has to happen for you to hit that goal? So if Ken says to me, Matt, I really want to make $100,000. Great. What has to happen for you to do that? Let's say that his goal was to run a marathon. And I said, Ken, have you ever run in your life? He says, no. I said, well, can you run 13 miles? No. Well, you got to get 13 before you get 26. So let's start figure it out how we get 1, then we get 2, so we got it. We know that these things have to happen before that. They're like these critical success factors. We have to figure out what has to happen in order for us to get to this result. and then start to go there and start to make it happen. I think that one thing I heard this statement a long time ago from Tony Robbins, and he said, most people overestimate what they can achieve in a year and severely underestimate what they can achieve in 5 years. And so what's interesting about that is when you set goals, set them about the person that you want to become. Not so much what you want to achieve, but the person that you want to, the person you want to become. So let's say, for example, that I'm talking to Ken, and I keep saying Ken because I see him at the top of my screen. But, let's say that I say to Ken and I say, what do you want people to say about you in 5 years? What do you want? How do you want people to describe you? What do you want your children to say about you as a father? What do you want your children to say about you as a businessman? What do you want your wife to say about you as a husband? How do you want your colleagues in our industry to speak about you? What do they say about you? And so you start from there. You say, I'd really like to become this person, and then you can kind of go backwards. So when you face a challenge or you face an obstacle, you say, well, what would they do? What would that 5-year version of me? How would they handle it? How would they deal with that? Because they're great at handling challenges. You're that person that you want to become. So you go backwards. How would they respond? How would they get there? What would they do? Would they stay on the couch or would they go to the office? Would they be afraid or would they move forward? They would do it. A lot of times when you kind of separate yourself from the now and the fear of it to who you want to become, you'll do the things that you need to do because you know that it's going to help you get there. And also, if you understand that the overestimation of a year is just a year, but who you can become, and a lot of life happens within 5 years, even 2 or 3. And I guarantee you, if you set the goal for 5 years out, you'll hit it faster than that. But it's just that process of setting it and starting to become. So I want to take my last minute or two here just to kind of do a little reflection for us. So as I look back, what do I believe that we did well at Howard Hanna, Western New York in the last year in 2022? I think that we provided exceptional service and representation in the marketplace. I think that we were a great example for the way that realtors are supposed to act with their clients and customers. I think that we focused on outcomes and we really focused on making sure that people had good service. And I think that we did that very, very well. And more so, I think that we provided more tools and resources to help all of our agents and all of our family get better and be able to achieve their goals. They had more leverage than they've had in the past, and we continue to do that. So I think that that's something, as I reflect, that we've done well as Howard Hanna, Western New York, is we keep providing great leverage for everybody to get their goals and become the people that they want to become. Now, what did we not do well in 2022? So one of the things I think we as a region did not do well, and I think we as an industry did not do this well, is that we let the marketplace dictate our behavior. And by that, I mean that it got so fast paced, people were giving away their buyers. They were saying, I just abandoned them. It's too hard. I wrote 30 offers for them and I'm smoked. I don't want any more. I'm giving people away. And we all know that's not really how we should act. If we are representing somebody, it's about strategy. It's about changing our opportunities, changing our way. And I think that we allowed the marketplace in some areas to dictate our behavior and get the best of us. And so as we reflect, we say, okay, we know that the market's shifting. So as we go to the third question, what will we improve? I think that we could do a better job kind of focusing on representation, helping people with better strategies, because everything that's old is new again. And so what's great about that is you see all the leverage that you have. There's so many things that we can do to go back and kind of reset and say, this is a great strategy. This is how I'm going to reflect and represent sellers. This is how I'm going to represent buyers. This is how we're going to help people with strategies and with pricing. And there's a better way that we can sit down and kind of consult and make sure that we help people get where they need to get in 2023. And when the world's kind of saying it's going to be crazy, again, I think it's not going to be crisis. I think that, yes, some of you are going to have to shift your skills. Some of us are going to have to focus on our habits, change a little bit of our habits. But at the end of the day, for all of these years, no matter what the market's doing, we have helped people buy and sell properties, and we have helped people with the dream of home ownership. So we may have to change our strategies or change our habits, but at the end of the day, we will prevail and we'll be able to help people the best that we can. So before I shift it over to Ken, I do want to say I've chatted with Lou and I've chatted with Kathy. And so if I do not get a chance, we just want to say thank you for what a great year 2022 was for all of you, everything that you guys have done, for representing Howard Hanna, for representing Western New York. And we hope you have great holidays and happy New Year's and all that stuff. And I know Lou and Kathy will jump in and say it before the call's off, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say that, because we chat every day and we're just very, very proud to work for you guys and to reflect you. So thank you. Happy New Year, happy holidays, all that stuff. And now I got to pass it over to the wizard, Ken Winowski, for some more insights.
Thank you, Matt. Just great points. It started with Chuck when someone said something about, how's the market? People are just polluted with what national people are saying. I love what Charlene shared with, together, being stronger together. And Matt, just really great reflection tools. I just texted my wife and asked her what she thought about me as a husband, and she just replied, "Bring home milk." So I'm not sure what that means, but I'm gonna talk to her later. As this recurring theme, I've been trying to bring, what's happening with the market, what's happening with interest rates. And I wanna, as I reflected, and Matt hit exactly what we did right, what we can do differently. I think what we can do differently and what I wanna challenge us all, and when I say all, I mean all of First Priority and all of Howard Hanna. We're one family. And I want us to control the narrative going into next year. There's a slide that I showed Lisa to please put up for me. And it's just a simple slide that last week, the Fed raised the Fed funds rate by 50 basis points. So it wasn't the high 3/4. And what happened? Our mortgage rates dropped to a 3-month low after that happened. It happens last week, midweek, and then Thursday, Friday. Everybody extrapolates, oh, what did the Fed, what did he say? What did Powell say? And they piece out and they dice all of his words. The bond market took it favorably. The stock market did not. The stock market likes low inflation and certainty, and the bond market likes, we're going to continue. We're seeing improvement. So when you go to those cocktail parties over the next week or two, when your family's coming into town, you may want to put this, this article or put this in their present, that mortgage rates have dropped to a 3-month low. We feel, and this is just personal opinion, that the rates are declining and the Fed's going to raise rates again. We're going to have volatility, but we've been pricing loans below 6. We've been pricing loans in the high 5s. We were at 7.25%. So what I'd like everyone to do next year is to really control the narrative. And when we look at, we look at everything that comes to us, and I love this time of year because it's like all the prognosticators are out there. What does Fannie Mae say for next year? What does Freddie Mac say? What are NAR's predictions? And I love it because last year at this time, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, NAR, they were all wrong. They said rates would not go higher than 4.5, 4.25. There's global events that happen all the time. So if we all say next year is going to be exceptional, because I control the narrative. I control what I want people to believe. And wouldn't it be awesome that every one of our customers that work with Howard Hanna at First Priority were like, oh my gosh, those people were so optimistic, gave such great advice. I don't have to, listen to what they say on blogs, on every news item that's coming at me. So let's go into next year. Let's control the narrative. It's going to be an exceptional market. If you look at it and say, oh, it's going to be normal, and you go home and you tell your family, oh, I made my goal plans and I'm going to be normal next year. I don't want to be normal. I want to be exceptional. So my wish for everyone for a wonderful holiday season, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Control the narrative going into next year. That's my gift for everyone, and let's work on it together. But I'm humbled to work with each one of you on a daily basis. Marv Levy always says, where would you rather be than right here, right now? I say that every morning when I come in. So thank you all. And I'm going to pass it off to Maggie, who's going to talk a little bit about some education with her green Santa hat.
It's me. Good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Happy Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. We have a lot of new educational opportunities coming up in January in Western New York. There will be live training. Hobie has asked us to get back into the classroom. So we are starting, we will still have some Zoom things like Wednesday webinar starting on January 4th, which is a Wednesday. And then in Rochester, we're starting something called Open Forum. This is a positive environment for Howard Hanna agents to come to the academy, sit down for an hour and a half, 2 hours. We're blocking off 2 hours to see how it goes. And then we'll determine later. Come in to talk about real estate and what we can do to raise the bar in the community individually and as a group, as offices. This is something we've been talking about for about 2 years. So I'm really excited to bring this forward. Launch will start in Rochester at Hanna Academy, which is for all agents, whether you're coming fresh into the business or you're coming from another broker. That's our day to talk about what Howard Hanna advantages, exclusive programs, get to know your dashboards, your websites, all your profiles, all of those things. Just a little get start in the company the right way. And then we're going to follow that with Fast Start. Matthew Whitehead and then Melissa in Western New York Buffalo are going to let me know what their schedule is going to be and how they're going to bring forward their program. Our calendar is set for the year in Rochester. And then on every other Tuesday, second and fourth Tuesdays in Rochester, we're going to have Tech Tuesday for all agents. So we're going to kind of do a round robin. We're going to start from 1 to 3. Again, every other Tuesday. That's going to allow me to go to Buffalo once or twice a month and into offices. Offices, if you want training in your offices, whether you're Rochester or Buffalo, let me know. We can do it live. We can do that Zoom, however works best for you in your offices. So keep an eye out for the calendars. These are all going to be Survey Monkey links. Everyone will register for themselves. These are all clickable QR codes. So take a look at the, if you go to your H Suite dashboard and you look for the training calendar at the bottom, university and the training calendar, all of these dates, all of these links are there. Have great holidays, stay safe, stay happy, and enjoy your families.
Thank you, Maggie. So those were some great, absolutely wonderful comments to carry through to the end of the year. And it says, and going into next year, of course, Matthew made some great points. Thank you so much, Matt. I'd like to know, Matthew, for you to unmute yourself for a second. You celebrate Christmas at your house. I know many of us on here celebrate Christmas, but happy holidays, happy Hanukkah to all. But Christmas morning, what does it look like at your house?
It's a chaos. I got, I got a 12-year-old and a 11-year-old. And no, it's just, I love to reset with the magic in their faces and like the excitement. And that's the best part of it. My daughter was born the day after Christmas. We went into labor the Christmas day.
Oh.
So we got Christmas, we got birthday, we got a ton of excitement. So it's a really special, good time for us.
Well, we all thank you for your guidance through the year and wish you and your family a wonderful holiday season and those joyous moments. And Kathy, how about you? I know you wanted to say a few words before we wrap up as well.
Yes, thank you everybody for all you've done, and we wish you happy holidays, and we are here to support you throughout the year, and we're here to help you. If you need something, please feel free to reach out to any of us, and happy holidays.
Great. And Lou, how about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for letting us be a part of this past year with you all. And I want you to make sure you enjoy your family, your friends. Again, ring out a new year because we're all looking for a great 2023. I think it's going to be very exciting.
Awesome. And thank you for all your contributions during the year as well. It's been great on the Monday call, getting to know everyone a little bit better. And Ken, you have a new grandbaby as well. What
Yes.
a great way to celebrate the holidays. Baby's first Christmas, huh?
Yep, they're going to be traveling home on Saturday, so my wife's all excited, and
Oh, that's great.
as am I. But he's
Great.
moving around, walking around. He's intense.
Great. Well, happy holidays to all. And Lisa Avery, any comments as our producer of the show over the last few months? Anything you'd like to say? Thank you so much for all your contributions, everything that you've done through the year thus far. we'll see where 2023 takes us. But would you like to say anything?
Sure, I would just like to say thank you. As everyone on the call knows, this is not our day job, production. So I especially appreciate your patience, and anytime we've had a little hiccup, people have been very good about it. I love that we had a question about previous episodes on our YouTube channel. So we have one that's missing. We'll get that one on there. But I have to say, I love that someone noticed that we were missing one, that people are watching them and going back to them. I know I take notes myself during these because there's such great information from all of you. So I'm very happy to be a part of it. And I hope it continues to grow in attendance in 2023.
Great, thank you. And thank you to Holly Capello as well for all of her help during the year. And Chuck, it was great to have you on the last 2 weeks. I hope we can continue doing something into 2023. But from the Western New York leadership team and myself, we'd like to say have an absolutely wonderful, safe, and happy holiday season.
Happy holidays,
And
everyone.
thank you to you,
Holidays,
Charlene, for
everyone.
setting this up. Appreciate that too, Charlene. So thank you for setting this up and getting this running. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Charlene.
Happy
Thank you,
holidays,
Charlene.
everyone.
Bye, guys.
Holidays.
Bye-bye.